Oh, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. I am going to share today some insights I've been receiving from my own spirit guides and team intuitive channel, a couple of things that they've been sharing with clients and other folks, and just a little bit of a life update today. A little bit of a life update. And this is going to be a quickie because I'm going to the Mariners game. And what's funny is I have been moving. And remember when I said that in a previous episode, how the year of the horse, while it is, people think fire, fast moving, yes, but also in a very grounded way. It's been so interesting moving this time around because I've done it a couple times in the last few years, or the last 5, 6 years. It has taken me exponentially longer than I ever expected. And keep in mind, I'm a bit of a worker. I'm a good worker bee. Don't worry. I was raised with that twinge in me, and it's been so fascinating. I've been reflecting on why has this taken the amount of time that it's taken. So, just some food for thought that I'd be curious to see how you're starting to notice that as things show up in your life, while clarity may come and precision may come, and you feel the direction and the movement, the energy is still holding us. I would say that it's keeping us wise, it's keeping us eyes open, and I really like that for us. One of the things I was thinking about, I was talking to my spirit guides, my spirit team about this, is why are we active perfectionists? Why are we active perfectionists? Why do we do that? And it's predominantly because we don't want to get hurt. We don't want to get hurt. The guides are using this really interesting term. I'm going to use it because it's going to land with someone here, but they're saying we don't want to get jimmied. We don't want to get jacked. We don't want to get jimmied, jacked, be hurt in any type of way. All those things have a little bit of a different connotation to them and a different meaning. But really, what we don't want is to have any way where we feel not valued, not safe. And that's why we constantly focus on perfection versus being very, very grounded in our lives and looking at it as a creative experience. And when we are creative, guess what? Not everything works out. Oh, it's such a cool and yet cruel world, isn't it? So the manifestation program, some of you have reached out to me. I've sent you the link. It's now available. I'm going to put it in the show notes here because we are active creators in our life. And this program, I'm so excited. I am so thrilled. I know that the people who are going to be activated in this program, and I mean activated within yourself, you're going to learn how to create from a space that allows you peace and enjoyment of your life right now, even more so than you already do. And that is a really, really special place to be living from. Okay. So, one of the messages that came through, which, man, you folks know I will talk about anything on this podcast, anything. And when this came through, I thought, oh, here we go, another threshold. Because the message that I got is that Spirit, God, the divine, is going to be showing up to more people more often, physically showing up to people. And when this happens or has happened in the past, and I was raised Catholic and we read a lot of really neat stories about different versions of spirit showing up to people and how it transformed their life and how they used that wisdom to transform other people's lives. And in a lot of ways, what's going to be different. So, first of all, I think it's interesting that spirit is going to start actively showing up to people more often. And there's a reason for this. Because if you look at the chaotic turn our world is in, what people really need more than ever is spirit's actually saying this right now, but the sense of proof, the sense of it's and from that comes a deep inner knowing. Now, a lot of people, especially if you're listening to this podcast, you already have a pretty strong knowing and you're learning how to develop it your way. And you have probably like beliefs in love, a greater self, a greater active force that is positively working for us at all times. And what I love about this is that two things. One, we can't ignore it because people are going to be changed by this. And the kind of change that we all desire to feel and be in this world. So the second piece is it's not about what's in the past, potentially, when someone received information, it probably turned at times a little bit into follow the leader. Follow the leader. Okay, well, this person received information or received a viewing or showing or whatever of such and such God, deity, etc. So therefore, let's follow them. Well, now the world has shifted, and what we're going to do instead is we're going to say, how is that person choosing to be? How are they choosing to live? And we're going to observe. And that's the part that I'm really excited about. Now, of course, there's not a clean line, right? There's definitely going to be some people that are in different elements of their life and they're going to say, oh, follow the leader. Okay, great. And at the same time, as a whole, we're very much going to be watching how people live moving forward. And I don't mean that from a place of scrutiny or a place of, you better be perfect now, no spiritual purity here. It's going to be in human form because I really believe, based on what I've been, I don't like to say I've been shown because that sounds a little bit larger than it is. Because when Spirit delivered this information, it was very quite simple. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see. It won't just be that people have these huge turnabouts. It might feel like that at first. We're really going to see people living life in their day to day as someone who really believes in a greater interconnectedness and a greater love. And when we do that, you guys, it's crunchy. It is crunchy. It is not perfect. It is not this beautiful spiritual soul-led path that I think a lot of us have been led to believe. No, it's actually very real and very crunchy. And so I think that's going to be the really interesting part is this is going to come through to a lot of people who are even in a couple of prominent positions, probably a lot more people who are in more of like the medium, less, not quite so visible, but somewhat visible. And it's going to be pretty neat. It's going to be pretty neat because people's spidey senses are on. They're turned on, they're woke, they're up, they're on, and people are really going to be feeling and sensing into. I mean, I think we all see it already, but we can sense when there's something amiss and we can sense when things are, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. So I'm excited for that for all of us. I really am. Will it have its journey like anything else? Of course, of course. And that's going to be interesting to watch unfold too. The other thing that came through that I thought was really interesting. So, in a group session, one of the things that I taught, this was in the intuitive practitioner training, is when we take care of our home responds to us and there's an evolution. So one of my friends came to me and said, hey, I came across my selenite and I want to put it in my home. What's the routine? Can you point me to one of your podcasts? And I thought, I'm going to do a refresher on that. So in April, I'm doing a refresher. I don't think I've done a full episode on this, but I'm going to do an episode on how we really connect with our homes and how we lean into this space of, ugh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like being one with our home, basically realizing almost as if it's another part of our family, not in the sense that we would need to tend to it the way we would a child or a partner, but it is included in the energy of our experience. Canyon series, very excited. So the other piece is around how we view ourselves, how we view ourselves. And I thought this was a very interesting concept to be brought forward, but the way that we view ourselves needs to change. And the energy is going to really encourage us to sort of flip the script and be our best defenders. Okay, when I say defenders, Spirit's not talking as if we need to be on the offensive, although, especially if you're a woman in modern times, it probably feels like we do need to be on the defensive, being told in our face that wrinkles are bad and all these other, aging is bad and all these other things. But really, we're going to start to become our own best defenders. There has been a lot of feminine energy coming into the earth plane in the last few decades because it takes a while, right? You and I, we cannot have, for example, Kuan Yin, okay, which is one of the most beautiful feminine archetypes of female energy out there. But her energy has been really prominent as an example of someone who's helping us carry it, who's helping us transcribe it into human form. Now, could you imagine if it just poof, we've landed, hey everybody, we're here, like, take the pill and you're going to be fine. You'll update your internal operating system. I mean, no, it takes these energies a lot of time to infiltrate, integrate. And you and I still have choice. So even though multiple feminine energies, beautiful feminine energy is here and coming into the earth plane to help us rebalance, grow in new ways, nurture in new ways. Not everyone is going to be accepting of it. Not everyone is going to be a participant. People will participate to different varying degrees. All of it is welcome. All of it's part of our experience. But these things do take time. So part of the feminine energy is feminine rage. And anger and rage can be very poo-pooed, right? We think of like Miss Prim's class of lessons, put the fork on this side, put the only if you instead of wiping your mouth, you dab your mouth. And women are seen, not spoken, things like that. And what we really want to start to notice is part of what this feminine energy is doing is saying, hey, I'm laughing right now because the guides are saying you're lethal. Well, but we're very powerful, we're very potent. And part of what we are going to do is recognize all the parts of ourselves that we have been taught something about, and we are going to really become the best defenders of ourselves. We're going to give ourselves a lot of grace. We're going to be very proud of our angles. We're going to be very proud of our emotions. And we're also going to embody our rage. We're going to embody our rage. When we express rage, in ways that we know is good for us, in ways that we know is not hurting someone else. Now, other people may be affected, but maybe that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not a good thing. You need to be the smart discernment individual on that. But at the end of the day, rage is a feminine quality. It can be a really good feminine quality. And it's one of the ways we process things. Why do we, it's funny if you think about, well, I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't have rage. Things happen in our world that we do not have control over, and it can feel disempowering. And do we want to let that energy sit in us? No. Are we going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, so and so took advantage of me, treated me poorly? So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to let a beautiful river of energy flow through me, and it's going to trickle through my heart chakra, and it's going to sparkle and glitter, and then it's just going to, perfectly weave its way out of my energy field. No, that's not how it works. Maybe in other dimensions, maybe when we are on the other side full time, but it ain't happening right now. We are in human form and we need to really embody and embrace the fact that we're in human form and that rage is part of the equation. As women begin to feel more rage, their energy and their vibration will up level. And if you're a man and you're listening to this podcast, you can actually look too, because we all have masculine and feminine energies, but you can look at the masculine parts of you. How do you feel rage? How do you sense rage? How is it that you express rage? Because oftentimes the male characters in particular express rage at individuals. It's focused more that way. So then instead we want to whereas women, we will feel the rage. There's times all of a sudden you're like, why am I thinking about this past thing that happened way back in the day and wanting to just punch something right now, right? Make up these stories in our head. And we all want to sort of think about, okay, how can I express my rage here? And, sometimes I go out to nature and I think the thing is, when I'm in really good nature, it's kind of hard for me to feel the rage. I start to feel really calm and happy and, clear and blah, 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 blah. But it is not a bad thing to go and get support from nature to help you balance out your rage. Okay. I tell you, what's funny? First of all, I love doing this podcast. I have been, my work on the back end is evolving. I would say it's refining, and I'm loving it so much. And I'm so excited for this. It's going to be so the manifestation program, it's 8 weeks total, but it's 4 sessions. And it's spread out for a reason because you're going to essentially reprogram yourself and the way you think and perceive how it is you're experiencing your experience. And these things don't happen overnight. A lot of people think manifestation is flash in the pan, or they think, I want to solve a problem. And I say that because I've been there. And what I'm really excited about is real, true manifestation is creating a life in time that helps you realize your dreams and enjoy the present moment as well. And with this podcast, even though, I mean, there's been the move, we've had a bunch of stuff going on, with the family, just other things happening. And it's so funny because the one thing I really want to do, I want to connect with my clients, and I love teaching my classes, and I want to do this podcast. It comes through me like I cannot. I was fixing the cat's food before this episode, and the podcast was coming through me, and I was like, wait, 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 wait. I'm almost ready. Hang on. I'll get the Zoom, I'll get the tech. This is the funniest part about being human, right? Wouldn't it be nice if I could just take what's in my head and be like, here you guys go, boop, boop, nope, but we got to open up our laptop and Zoom's got the updates. And so I got to wait for the updates to happen. And I got to plug in my microphone. And this time I'm smart and I'm making sure my microphone works before we get started. And anyway, it feels really, really good. I'm so excited for what we have in store for us this year. It's really going to put us in the driver's seat, each of us. And I think that's a really interesting thing for the guides to share, especially when we probably feel as though the opposite's happening to us. So, podcast, manifestation program. Yeah, I'm pumped for it. I'm pumped for it. You can show up live, you can get hot seat support. If you volunteer, I'll get to as many people as possible. You can also just listen to the recording. It's $97 in total. And yeah, more to come in that direction. I am going to also put out in the next episode a link if you want to ask a question. I was going to do a voice recording, but with voice recordings, people tend to go too long and they tend to kind of, they don't get to the point all the time, which is fine. Hello, raising my hand. So I'm going to put it in physical form and so that you guys can drop your questions in there. And if you decide to ask a really, really personal question, you're going to have to give some detail and just know that it'll be put on the podcast. Or maybe you just have a general question, why are there different types of ghosts? Whatever your question is. And I'm not going to guarantee I answer all of them. Also, they might be where you could say, what's your opinion on this situation or this topic? And I will let you guys know when I answer it if it's my opinion or the guides or both. Yeah. Okay. Love your light. Mean it. See you next time. Bye. It has been so great to connect here. If this episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who you want to have more of these chats with. As you move throughout your day, remember, your energy is your superpower. As you pay attention to it and trust it, you can watch your entire life begin to transform.